Alrighty, here we are, recording our first video here, our tutorial. I know that I did a post on how to find an observing site. This is for paying members, so they can actually see how I go about and do it. I think visual is a lot easier than just writing about it. It's one of the areas that I really want to kind of really focus on incorporating into my blog and my writing and so forth and sharing. You can see the first thing I did was to go, I opened up a new Google, and you can use, I have DuckDuckGo, which I usually use. I'm going to use just Google today. I haven't imported everything over to DuckDuck yet. I also have Firefox. You can use any of those. I'll just stick with the Google today. I've opened up Google Maps. You can see it when it opens up. It centers right on my home here, where I live. I'm on a half acre. We call it our multi-generational home. My daughter, my son-in-law, my two grandkids have the basement. My son has an ensuite here that has his bedroom, a bath, small kitchenette, nice little closet there, and then we have the main floor here. So it's kind of multi-generational. We're on a half acre. This is a grass area. This was done in winter, so you could see that actually it was done in the spring. I hadn't turned on my water yet, and so other people had, so they were nice and green. I didn't turn my water on until probably about a week after this was taken. But that's grass, that's grass. The rest of this is rock and native plants. We went with a xeriscape when we built this house 4 years ago, and are very happy with it. It retains water. There's my swim spa where I swim for an hour a day just to lose weight and make sure my kidney function, everything stays good with my health. Anyway, we'll zoom back out. Not that anybody cares about that, but actually I kind of want to see that. I want to see if, do they have, they used to just, oh, they actually have my house now. It used to just be a flat field. This all used to just be a horse field, so that's kind of nice. Just so you know, I live next to a storage area, but what's really nice, they have this super high wall that blocks all lights coming in. The only light I get is from my neighbor behind me, who has floodlights that are motion, and I have to remind him to point them down. Otherwise, they point into our bedroom, our master, and into the master in the basement. So anyway, there's some stuff about my house and my life. Gonna now just go over, I'm gonna open up a new tab. We're gonna pull up a couple things here. There's a couple things when I go to look for a new site besides Google Maps that I'm gonna want to open up. I'm gonna open up the Dark Skies light pollution map. It's not my favorite. For some people, they prefer it. I actually prefer David Lorenz's, and we're going to pull that one up too. Not Easy Consulting, that's our business. But let me pull this up and find light pollution map, Atlas, there it is. That will come in, and I'm going to just, as this comes in, I'm just going to zoom into Utah, into my area. And we'll talk right now. It's just, if you come down to the drop menu, you can see this is on the OpenStreetMap. And we'll change that to imagery for a little bit, but just so you can see, kind of show you where I live. We're all the way out here. So if I use his map on my house, they show me at 19.01. Probably realistic. I get a 19 to 19.5 depending on conditions. So I don't know why they have Trinity Community Church there. There is no community church there. So maybe in the future there will be. That'll be interesting if I have that there. Anyway, so we'll come back to that. The other thing that I'm going to open up is I go to my Facebook, not my Facebook, I go to my blog. And on my blog, if anybody ever wants to know, I have open source. I keep it available for anybody. I always will do that. Right here, Google Map of my main observing sites. It's right below the links to other stuff. I need to update that. A couple of those are bad. But if I click on that link, it will open up a Google Map that I save. That's mine. And on here, I have all the observing sites that I've either driven to or been to and used. Basically, the ones that are the blue dots, I have, those are possible sites that you could use for observing. The ones with the actual telescopes, those are places that I've actually observed. And if you come in and look, like I'll share here, This is my favorite site in the Vernon area. You can see that I have pictures here, and the pictures actually confirm that I've actually used that site, and then I have a lot of detail there. So that's actually one of my favorite sites. My other favorite site in this area is what I call Forest Road 6-2, and I have a couple pictures there, and you can see there's my dog. Anyway, so I'll open that up, and once I get that open, I can begin to actually do the work of looking for an observing site. Okay. In the case that I posted about, I was looking at the Deep Creeks, and the Deep Creeks are right here. Those are the Deep Creek Mountains, two mountain points that are 12,000 feet there. It's out in the Utah West Desert. You can see that if I were to come back and change this to a non-topo map, I'll just kind of zoom in and show you. You can see right here. So this road right here is the Pony Express Road. You get it off of State Route 36 that comes down through there. And you can take the Pony Express site right off of there. It comes all the way, there's 36. You come over here, there's Aunt Libby's. That's an interesting story. Someday maybe I'll share that. And you can take this out. There is a wild horse herd out here. I've taken pictures and videos of them. And you can come down. One of my favorite areas out here is Simpson Springs. It's a nice little campground there. And I actually like to observe out here. Out here is the West Desert. You do get a little bit of light coming in from the Dugway area up here. I'll just kind of zoom out on that. Hopefully notice that when I'm recording it kind of delays a little bit. But this is a nice flat area. And you can see if you zoom in, I just have the one picture. That's what it looks like when we were out there checking out this site, and I've used it once. It is just really nice and dark at 21.9, and you're basically, during the week, you're totally alone there, so that's nice. You can see I have other sites that I've picked, and this is one that's right at Canyon Entrance. It's pretty dark there. This is where I'm doing a post that we actually observed here this summer. It was beautiful, 21.94 when we were out there, and had some pretty cool experiences out there, which we'll have to share and talk about. Another one that I'll be posting is my site out here at the Knolls Recreation Area, and my site there, you can actually see I have 8 pictures there. And you can basically tell that the more pictures I have of a site, the more I like that site. So anyway, in this case, I'm looking to find a couple sites that are really dark and really far away. One of the ones my friend Shane and I want to do is out here, and we want to explore this mountain range right here. And you can see the town of Calios here. You can get there by the Pony Express, or you can get there, and the easiest way is to come up through Wendover and then take 93 South, and then you take the Pony Express Road and come over down to Callio, which I was showing. And once you get to Callio, which is right here, there's a couple spots that you can actually get into, and that are really nice. There's Callio. There's a campground, and I'm not sure why that's not showing up here. Oh, it might be down here. Didn't realize there was a LDS church here. Interesting. But there is, I'll get down here, off of Snake Valley Road, there is a CCC campground right here. And so I'm going to just show you how I actually drop a note here. I just click on the marker, and I've actually driven out here, and I would set up right about here. You're off the road a little bit, and CC, and we'll change the name, CCC Campground. Good site during the week. Some people here on weekends, possible. but usually no one. SQM comes in the 21.9 range. Wide open and flat. No services or water. Just a camping ground that once was a CCC camp in the 1930s when we did that. Okay, I'm going to hit save there. I just come here to this button. I'm going to just mark that there. And then I'm going to, I think if I come here and search, I have some images that I can put here. Let me bring this up. Let's go to D. Let's go to astronomy. Let's go to observing site. Nope, observing locations. It's one of the two. Let's see. I may not have them here. Maybe put them in my Patreon site images. And let's take a look here. Nope. I haven't uploaded the images yet, so we won't worry about putting images here. But that's one possible area. The other areas, and if I actually pop over to Google Maps, you'll be able to see as I come out here. And we will change the layer to traffic. And we will get out here, way out here. This is a 3.5 hour drive to get out here. You'll see that I have marked some areas on my Google map that I haven't put on yet. So anyway, I do want to mark, like I have the campground, just waiting for everything to get up to speed here with me, catch up to me. The campground I haven't marked, but there are plenty of areas out here. There's the CCC campground. And I can mark my area right there. Wait for it to come up. And come on. Should be able to put a mark there. Hit save, and I want it to go to my Astral Places, so now that will be saved. You can also see that I actually am exploring this area. So I'm going to just usually just take the map and go around and take a look at what I can find. And the other thing that I do when I did this is you can see that we have Iba Peak and Rocky Peak, 2 at 12,000 feet when you get up there. It's beautiful out there. It is a desert, but the mountains are mountainous, so you get a lot of good things there. You can see that there's Trout Creek here near Callio. You can actually fish there if you want. I've put an observing site here, and like if I want directions to get there on Google Maps, I can just put my address in, and I'll show you. They'll probably recommend that we cannot. That's the problem with Google Maps. If I were to follow this and take their preferred route, once I get to Dugway is closed through here. This is the Utah testing range. You are not allowed to go that way. So I'm going to click on here. You can see that if I did this, this is almost a 4-hour trip. And either way, it's going to be 3.5 to about 4 hours to get there. I could come to Pony Express Trail through here. There's lots of nice and observing routes through there, but I would have to actually come down and come back through down here and come up. That Dugway route is not accessible. So we're looking at 3 hours and 24 minutes. The problem with that, and the problem by taking these sites, well, before I get there, a few things that I did was, let me go back to the Google Maps, is we'll just put in trout. I just start now. I just start putting things in and trying to show and learn about it. It's a stream that runs through a picturesque canyon, popular for its wild trout fishing, outdoor recreation like hiking and camping. Trout Creek, his name, is also associated with a remote community in the West Desert of Utah. also known for its connection to the Pony Express Overland Route with an ATV Jeep trail in the Deep Creek Mountains near the community. Okay, so let me take a drink real quick. You can see I just get some basic information, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to worry about looking at that. I have it up. There's a USGS monitoring location near Callao. It's water data. Actually, there's a wiki on it, and I'll pick a couple of these and just kind of go through and see what I can learn. And you got to be careful. This one's out in Vernal. This is eastern Utah, not western Utah. So you want to make sure that you get there. You get the right stops, right place up. And you can see these are in the Deep Creek Mountains. So another Google thing I'm going to do is go Deep Creek Mountains. You can see I've actually, when I was here doing my post, I actually looked up a lot of the things on the Deep Creek Mountains, and like here, the Outdoor Realist, Deep Creek Mountains hiking near Ayapa. You can see there's the Deep Creek Mountains and hiking Ayapa Mountain, camping in the Deep Creeks. Of course, you can't camp up in the mountains. The trails will lead up there. There's a lot of places to go. Once you get up here, though, the tree line is going to impact what we do with astronomical observing or imaging, whether you're visual or anything. And you can see here, he says, don't take that route. Do not take, to get to Ayapa, you want to do this. Coming from Park City, where he lived, it was 6 hours and 58 minutes. So it is a deep, long drive to get there. This is a that tells me it's a multiple day location that I want to go to. Like he says, it's isolated. They're halfway between the town of Wendover to the north, the town of Baker and Great Basin National Park to the south. There's no easy way to get there. Every route has dirt roads or washed out dirt roads to access the range. They are the highest mountains in Utah West Desert. It's isolated, and making the trip the experience of the big peaks among a unique geography and unexpected foliage. You do need to go nearby to the 50 miles south of the Gandy Warm Springs. Ayapa Peak is 12,087 feet with a prominence of 52,047 feet. And so you can see that you can actually hike up there. Even though the mountains, the Deep Creeks, are right in the middle of one of the largest deserts in the Great Basin, it's not difficult to find water when you're hiking this. The water comes from springs that are there and flow water year-round. Just need to have a water filter if you're going to use the water there. Otherwise, you need to bring water with you. But you can get a sense for, there's a lot of caves and old mining areas. It is a wilderness area, but part of the agreement in the study of the wilderness area is to keep all trails open. Here you can see what the trails going up into the mountain look like. There are some nice spots up in the mountains that you could observe. I just prefer to do it back down a little farther in. So this guy explains that there's two ways to go. There's that northern route, or there's a shorter route if you go through Delta and then come up to the Deep Creeks. There's my problem. When I was investigating this, you got Notch Peak up here. You also have down here Conger Springs. That's a wild horse area, and there's some beautiful spots there to go and observe. I kind of put that in my post. And to get there doesn't take as long. So if I come on my map here, and there's the Conger Springs site that I would go to, and if I was doing that, just cancel out of this. Let's say we're going to go here, and this is just as dark, just as remote, far less. I never run into people when I'm out at this site. You can see here, it wants my starting home spot. So I'll just take my house here, and you can see that if I don't go all the way, this route's only 3 hours and 36 minutes, and that's pretty legit. It takes me about 3.5 hours. I drive a little fast, a little bit of a lead foot, as long as I don't get pulled over. But I can get there just 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 3 hours, 40 minutes. And I have a site that's just as dark, but doesn't take the 6 hours to get out to the deep creeks. But the deep creeks I like to do about once every 2 or 3 years because they're just beautiful and it is isolated. You do need to be careful on the deep creeks. On the western side is the Ghost Chutes Indian Reservation. You want to make sure you don't get anything over there that could impact that area. So anyway, I just want to know that it's really dark, but if I'm going to go there, a lot of times I'm just going to go here just because that's a lot shorter drive. I can gas up in Delta and get any supplies that I don't have or I've forgotten, and then I can go out, enjoy a day or two here, and then head back. Anytime you're going in the desert, you want to make sure your car is well equipped. Extra good spare is important. Have flat repair. I carry a flat repair because I don't have a good spare, and I need to probably get a cage on the back of my hatch that doesn't interfere with the hatch going up and down on the back of my Ascent. You can get those and put a normal spare on, but I do have a tire patch. I do have a air pump, so if I get a flat, I can repair it and at least get out if I need to. Anyway, so in picking this site, that's about the only negative I can see on this site is it's just out here and it's way far. We'll go back over to my map itself, and you can see that I have the campground here, and I have not put from my Google Maps those other areas on here as possible observing areas. So I'll do that right now. We'll come in here and we are going to have to kind of go back and forth on these maps, and I just look for prominences. Looks like we have a little thing there, and we're going to move this over to here. Sure looks like that's it. And there should be a spot. Just come in here. Looks like there's a nice little spot right here, except you have that ridge really in the way in the south, and I got to see how that works. Don't know if that's really going to work, but for now we will just mark this as a possible, if I can get it to work, and you'll see possible Trout Creek observing Deep Creek Mountains. Need to go and check out the views 360 degrees. SQM will be in the 21.9s. Upper 21.9s there, I know that. So I'll just hit save on that. So now I have that point added. And then I'm going to go back to my Google map, and I have one that's just down a little bit. It's going to be off this little road, Trout Creek Road. And it's right down there. There's a nice little flat area here. So I'm going to go back, and we're going to come out and see if I can find that road. Fish Hook. And that's probably the problem with the two maps here, is I'm not finding. So on that spot, I just kind of use geographic features to find out my spots. So here's the river, and I got a couple spots there. See if we can find this. So yeah, there's that spot, and I just saw it, Trout Creek Road. And we're going to go back so I can zoom in now. So it's just past that, a little up. And there it is. Observing site, Trout Creek North Road, Site 1. SQM 21.9 and wide open field of view. Save. And because I haven't been there yet to that site, I'm not going to do that one, but we're going to come back up here. I'm going to rename that one site because it's not Trout Creek It is Granite Canyon. So we're going to click on it. We're going to click edit. And we're going to say Granite Canyon observing possible site. Save. So I've located, in looking around and in reading different Google places about the Deep Creeks, those were two sites that were kind of just shared and that I went to. And here you can see Coyote stuff. I actually used his site. He had a lot of good stuff on here. He goes around the West and different things in his Wrangler, and he just shows different areas and different things to do and where he went. This was the Canyon Station Pony Express ruins. So what's there? There's the Deep Creeks. You can see that if you're out here in the desert, this is pretty near the campground, how wide open it is. And yeah, they block your western view a little bit, but not enough to matter. Here he is up high, way up high, as he goes up. You can see there's Callio in the distance. You'll get a few farm lights there, not many, not bothersome. And at Tom's cabin, it's wide open. You could set up there if you can get up there. Do you need four-wheel drive to do that? And then he just goes up further. You can see where he camps. You can see the road going in. And again, you'd be fine observing up here too in the spring, late spring, summer, and early fall. But it's just a matter of whether or not you want to haul your equipment that high up. But there are pictographs. There's hiking. You can see cougar kill there. This is a great shot of the campground, and I know that I've saved that. I'll probably upload that just as an image until I get there. And you can see the campgrounds are there, and there's a lot of things there. This is Indian Farm Creek. It's part of the campground. That's an old building from the campground. You can set up out here. And anyway, so his site was actually very helpful, and he identified, if I keep going through, just different sites that I actually ended up marking on the map because of what he went to. So anyway, very interesting. You can find a lot of good information when you Google things and search for them and be able to find them. So I would say the biggest drawback I have with Deep Creeks is the distance and the time, 6-hour drive. So even to go and explore this is a commitment. Been to the campground. I know the campground's decent. Never got disturbed. Had a few lights up here to the northeast from Callio. Really didn't bother me. Very sporadic, just a couple of distant farm lights. Usually by 10 o'clock they're off. In the winter they're off by 8 o'clock. People go to bed early out here. You can also come out here on the Pony Express Road. There's Boyd Station. This is pretty wide open. You could observe out here. And you can actually make your way. This is Fish Springs. There's mosquitoes out here in the summer. You got to watch out for that. But there's other places to observe out here. This is an isolated place. Awesome site. My only problem is the distance and the time, especially since I can get down here to Notch Peak. And I know that on Notch Peak I've actually been there, so we're going to change that. And go there, and I think on one of these I haven't uploaded my images, so I'll be doing that probably just to get the map updated. But they're there, and let's get this down because that's usually where I go. That's a corral that I prefer. These two sites are okay. I've actually observed at this one once, and I prefer the corral site down here just because it's a little more open. Anyway, but these sites are dark. There is no light. There is no farms nearby. Out of the two, I'm probably honestly going to go down here to the corral near Conger Springs over the Deep Creeks. But the Deep Creeks are fun to go to. And there's places to explore, so if you have a family. This is almost all the way out to Great Basin too, so it gives you a sense for how dark it is. So anyway, that's how I go about finding a site. That's how I go about doing it. I hope you may find that helpful. If you're not a member, feel free to join up. And if you do, you get access to these type of videos. I'll be making more of them. And thanks for stopping by. And thanks for taking a listen. Have a most wonderful day.